Welcome to Testaments of Faith, The Great Flood, Noah's Journey. Chapter 1. The Corruption of Humanity and God's Sorrow. The world had become a dark reflection of the perfect creation that God had once molded. Humanity, once destined to flourish in divine presence, now walked in shadows, surrendering to violence, selfishness, and wickedness. The earth was corrupt, infested with sin, and the cries of the innocent echoed into the void. The Creator, who had once looked upon his work with joy, now gazed with sorrow at what mankind had become. Love and kindness had been crushed by evil and greed, and the hearts of men had strayed completely from him. Then the Lord pronounced his judgment. The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence. I will destroy them with the earth. The Creator decided to cleanse the land, to purify it through relentless waters, a flood that would eradicate corruption and bring forth a new beginning. But amidst that perverse generation, there was one man who stood apart. Noah, a righteous and upright man, walked with God. His faith was unshakable, his heart was pure, and while others indulged in sin, Noah remained steadfast, guided by the voice of the Lord. Seeing this, God chose him as the bearer of hope for humanity. And then, the divine voice echoed over Noah, instructing him on the grand mission he was about to undertake. He was to build a massive ark, a vessel that would serve as the only refuge for his family and every creature that still roamed the earth. The time of destruction was near, but so was the moment of a new covenant between God and the righteous. Chapter 2. God's choice of Noah and the command to build the ark. Noah listened carefully to the Lord's command, and his heart filled with reverence and awe. Make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Make compartments in it and cover it inside and out with pitch. Behold, I will bring a flood upon the earth to destroy all flesh in which there is the breath of life under heaven. But with you I will establish my covenant. The instructions were clear, and the fate of his family, as well as the future of creation, rested upon his obedience. The days that followed were filled with hard labor and determination. Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, began constructing the colossal structure, following every detail revealed by God. The sound of axes cutting through wood echoed through the fields as the first beams of the ark rose. Many mocked him, calling him insane, for never before had it rained as God had foretold. But Noah did not waver. While the crowd laughed and ignored the signs from the heavens, he continued to work, believing that the word of the Lord would come to pass. The ark took shape, immense like a floating fortress. Its interior was prepared to house every species of animal, 2 by 2, male and female, so that they could repopulate the earth after the waters receded. Time was running out, and Noah knew that the storm was approaching. His heart remained firm, for his trust in God was his anchor amidst the coming chaos. Chapter 3. The completion of the ark and humanity's final warning. Years passed, and the ark was nearly complete. Its massive hull gleamed under the sun, a fortress symbolizing both the wrath and mercy of God. But before the rains began to fall, Noah had one final task: to warn those who could still listen. He raised his voice and cried out for men to repent, to abandon their corrupt ways, and turn their hearts back to the Creator. The flood is coming. The Lord has commanded me to build this ark to save those who trust in Him. Repent while there is still time. But humanity's response was one of contempt. Laughter echoed through the valley. Mockery spread among the people. They continued their feasts, their indulgences, and their crimes, believing the earth would remain as it always had. Rain. What nonsense is this? It has never rained like that before. Noah has lost his mind. Their hearts were hardened, their eyes blind to the truth that was approaching. Noah looked at his sons, his wife, and his daughters-in-law. He knew that the time for pleading was over. The Lord's judgment would come, and only those within his covenant would survive. The doors of the ark were about to close, and with them, the fate of humanity was sealed. Chapter 4. The animals enter the ark and the heavens close. The sky darkened, and the wind whispered warnings that only the faithful could hear. Noah, with his heart pounding, heard the voice of the Lord once more. "Noah, enter the ark, you and your entire household, for I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation." These words echoed in his soul. He knew that the time had come. Then, as if guided by an invisible force, the animals began to move. From every corner of the earth, 2 by 2, male and female, they marched toward the ark. Lions walked alongside deer, wolves followed peacefully with lambs, and birds filled the sky in harmonious flight before descending upon the massive vessel. The sight was both astonishing and glorious. Those who witnessed this event felt a chill run down their spines. Yet even in the face of such a miracle, their hearts remained hardened. When the last of the animals entered and settled in their places, Noah turned to his family. His wife, his sons, and his daughters-in-law stood ready. With one final look at the world that was about to vanish, he stepped inside the ark. Then, the Lord shut the door, sealing the fate of humanity. Outside, the earth fell silent, as if holding its breath before the impending judgment. Chapter 5. The flood begins. 40 days and 40 nights of rain. Then came the first thunderclap. The sky, heavy with dense and ominous clouds, covered the heavens like a dark veil. Lightning streaked across the horizon, momentarily illuminating the faces of those who had mocked Noah. But in an instant, the heavens tore open, and rain poured down with an unrelenting roar. It was as if the gates of the abyss had been opened, with water surging both from above and below. Disbelief quickly turned to terror. Men and women ran in desperation, seeking shelter, but there was none. Rivers overflowed, furious seas surged onto the land, and the rain did not stop. Cities were swallowed, fields submerged, and cries for mercy were drowned by the storm's wrath. Inside the ark, Noah and his family listened as the world outside was consumed. Waves crashed against the vessel, tossing it like a leaf in the wind. Yet, the ark held firm, sustained by divine promise. Time blurred, days and nights became indistinguishable, and their only certainty was the faith that kept them breathing. For 40 days and 40 nights, the flood consumed the world. Chapter 6. A world submerged and hope within the ark. Silence reigned. The storm's fury had ceased, and the once vibrant and teeming world now lay submerged beneath an endless ocean. The only thing that remained afloat was the ark, drifting on the waters as a solitary witness to God's mercy and judgment. Noah gazed outside, seeing only the vast emptiness of water stretching to the horizon. His heart grew heavy as he remembered those who had ignored his warnings, those who refused to turn back to the Creator. Yet, even amid grief, there was hope. He knew that God had not forgotten them. Inside the ark, time moved slowly, testing their patience and faith. Food was rationed, animals were tended to, and the family remained united, trusting that soon the skies would clear for a new beginning. The ark was not just a vessel of survival. It was a bridge between a condemned world and the promise of renewal. But when would the waters recede? When would the land re-emerge? The only answer was to wait and trust. Chapter 7. The waters begin to recede. The search for dry land. Time inside the ark felt endless. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The sound of raging waters had diminished, but the vast liquid horizon still dominated the earth. Noah, filled with patience and hope, waited for the moment when God would reveal a sign. Then came the answer. One day, the ark gently swayed, and a faint sound of impact was heard. It had settled upon the mountains of Ararat. Noah's heart raced, but the waters still covered much of the land, and the waiting continued. To confirm whether the ground was dry, Noah released a raven, which flew back and forth but found no resting place. Then he sent a dove. The first time, it returned without any sign of land. 7 days later, he sent it again, and this time, it returned with an olive branch in its beak. That small branch carried the promise of a new beginning. The Creator was renewing his covenant, and soon the land would be ready to be inhabited again. With unwavering faith, Noah and his family awaited the next command from the Lord, knowing that a new world lay ahead beyond the waters. Chapter 8. The Return to Land and God's Covenant with Noah. Noah and his family awoke to the sound of the wind growing stronger. Then the Lord spoke, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife, your sons, and your sons' wives with you. Bring out every living creature so that they may multiply on the earth." The ark's doors were opened, and a new world was revealed before them. The scent of fresh earth, the crisp air, the vast clear skies, after so long confined, feeling solid ground beneath their feet was a miracle. The animals left, each going their own way, ready to repopulate the earth. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Noah built an altar to the Lord and offered sacrifices in worship. The aroma rose to the heavens, and God accepted the offering. Then he made a covenant with Noah. "Never again will I curse the ground because of mankind, nor will I ever again destroy all living creatures with a flood." To seal his promise, God painted the first rainbow in the sky, a symbol of his eternal covenant with all creation. Noah's heart was filled with joy. The earth had been restored, and with it, the hope of a new beginning. Humanity had been given another chance to walk in the ways of the Lord. Chapter 9. The Promise of the Rainbow and a New Beginning. The rain had ceased, the waters had receded, and a new cycle had begun. Noah and his family were now the sole inhabitants of the earth, entrusted with the responsibility of repopulating and teaching the ways of the Creator. They settled, cultivated the land, and ushered in a new era of mankind. Above them, the rainbow shone brightly, a constant reminder of God's mercy. Whenever the clouds gathered and the rain fell again, the rainbow would appear to remind all that the Lord kept his promises. The destruction had been necessary to cleanse corruption, but God's grace had allowed for a new beginning. Over time, nations would rise, and the story of humanity would continue. But Noah's name would never be forgotten, for he was the man who, with unshakable faith, survived the storm and witnessed the renewal of the world by divine will. The journey had ended, but the call to obedience and trust in the Lord would remain eternal. The story of Noah and the flood teaches us that even in the midst of destruction and chaos, God always has a plan for restoration. Noah not only survived the waters, but was chosen to carry the hope of a renewed world. His faith, obedience, and patience were rewarded with a new beginning. Many times, we face storms in our lives, moments when all seems lost. But just as Noah trusted in God's promise, we must remember that there is always a rainbow after the storm. The Creator never abandons those who trust in Him. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content. May God bless you, and see you next time on Testaments of Faith. Thank you.